While I was in law school, I had a wonderful opportunity to have a member of the faculty introduce a series of exercises and practices to really help focus attention and manage and work with stress. And I think that those were extremely helpful to me as I walked into law school very excited and very engaged and intellectually stimulated. And I found that to run through the course of law school, notwithstanding the highs and the lows of moment-to-moment experiences where it could be particularly challenging. And I think it's those practices and exercises that allowed that sense of equanimity to flow through the experience, sustaining energy and enthusiasm and engagement. Well, I found mindfulness practice to be very helpful while I was a law student as well as a practicing attorney. And as I began to develop ways of sharing mindfulness with others, in particular in the legal profession, I really couldn't think of a better group to share it with than law students. It's a very grueling, high stress, challenging time. It's emotionally very up and down. There's a lot of uncertainty. And mindfulness really works well to allow one to embrace these experiences and ride through them in a way that's engaged and excited, notwithstanding the fact that it is stressful and in some ways feels very threatening. So I wanted to offer that to law students because I found it personally meaningful and felt it could be done in a way that would have resonance with law students as a group. Well, really, it's meant for the law student where they find themselves. Law school experience is very challenging, and I think that everybody finds some aspect of that challenging experience to be something that could be managed a little bit more effectively. It could be that it is emotionally overwhelming. There's a lot of anxiety and angst. It could be that it creates shifts in mood where one doesn't feel they've got the energy or the enthusiasm to move forward in the way that they would have liked and really have within them. And others could have it where there's the ability to sustain their focus and their concentration is very challenged and compromised because of what feels like an overwhelming amount of work. And mindfulness as a practice can be very helpful in meeting each of those challenges. And so I think that law students, regardless of where they find themselves, can find the book to be helpful and mindfulness to be very helpful in really navigating through this challenging and really wonderful experience of law school so that they leave it feeling excited as much as they did when they walked into it. Well, the book is really meant to be responsive to the environment in which law students find themselves. There are a collection of practices at the end that a student can read and draw upon. Any particular practice stands on its own, and each page carries with it an insight of mindfulness, carries with it a quote, carries with it a bit of the science of mindfulness, and oftentimes carries with it a reason why one might want to practice, and then connects to an exercise that the student can draw upon. So a page here, a page there, can be very fulfilling and satisfying and informative without taking a lot of time, and can lead to a practice that can really become the mainstay of the experience. 5-minute practice here, a 6-minute practice there, a 10-minute practice, whatever the individual finds personally meaningful and sustainable for them. This is relief from judgment. And it begins with a quote from the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. On motion and just terms, the court may relieve a party from a final judgment for the following reasons. The fifth is, the judgment has been satisfied, released, or discharged. And the insights that flow from this in the context of the law, connecting it to mindfulness practice, is that practicing mindfulness, you catch yourself criticizing and judging yourself and others. You begin to see how frequently these thoughts arise sua sponte. By observing judgments as activities of the mind and allowing them to arise and pass away, they lose their mandate and you are not compelled to execute them. Doing so, you find relief. And the mindfulness memo provides, mindfulness practices do not seek to stop judgments from arising. Mindfulness practice is aimed at observing the judgmental thoughts that arise and watching them pass. Mindfulness is about watching judgments arise with curiosity and interest. Wow, that's interesting. Mindful awareness is non-judgmental.